Talking about today, dude. Finding paid projects for Roblox game dev. All right. So I did the first thing I wanted to get out the way, uh, because I guess we're just gonna go live and I'll keep up with chats, but I'm gonna like turn this into a video. You know what I mean? Like I did the last one. Um, the first thing I wanted to get into was how to prevent like being scammed and how to prevent yourself from just really being scammed or just wasting your time with somebody or getting in like a weird predicament with somebody, right? And how I want to explain that really it is just what is my method? What's my payment method when I find projects? And by the way, like I've found, you guys that follow me, you guys probably know I haven't been looking for work for a very long time. Uh, that's like working for companies. And I just started looking for work. Part of that was companies, like I applied to a few, but it's also been freelance projects, right? And so like within the first 2 days, I found one that was paying already. You know what I mean? That was within 2 days of me looking, right? Uh, and so how do I do this? I think if I explain how I did it and how I do it, it'll prepare you guys to be able to do it yourself, and also just within the method it'll you'll protect yourself from being screwed over and scammed anyway. Because if you guys follow me, you guys saw one of my recent posts like a while back, somebody like scammed me out of like 2 days of work, which I really didn't care about. It was a The task was something that I wanted to build anyway. I already really felt like it was sketch from the beginning. I just didn't really care because I was like, well, it's only going to take me 2 days and it's something that I wanted to build anyway. So I just did it anyways. But here's my payment method. Like, here's how I hit people up. So for one, I don't ever send portfolios. I've never sent a portfolio to somebody. I used to send resumes a long time ago. I don't even send resumes anymore. People ask me to send resumes. I don't got time for that. I'll just list my company experience and that's it. You know what I mean? Oh, they made fish. What are you talking about, Gaius? But yeah, so I don't do portfolios. I don't send resumes. I don't got time for it. All I do is I list the companies that I've worked at, and then I state that I'm Crockpot Dev on YouTube. I don't link or anything. Like that's literally it. That's all I do. Sometimes if I feel like the person I'm talking to is can be somebody that I can potentially work with and they're asking me to give them more, sometimes I will go and like give them more. I'll give them links, link to my YouTube, link to my GitHub, things like that. And then I'll also ask them what kind of they're looking for. Asking questions is really big in sales, or if you're trying to provide services for somebody, like you just need to ask questions. So asking questions is really good, if we have that back and forth. And then I list my payment method, which is I let them know like I only operate this way. Let me know if you're interested, right? So a big thing for this community, this very, very niche specific community, is pay per task. I never do that. I only do weekly payments. You only accept crypto? That's crazy. Uh, yeah. I don't only accept crypto. You're goofy as fuck. All right. So what I'll do is I do weekly payments for agreed upon hourly and amount of hours. So let's say that I'm getting paid rough like around $20 an hour, okay? Just for example's sake. I'm getting paid $20 an hour. They're agreeing to that. Now, depending on their budget, that's how many hours I'm willing to work per week. So like if they only have say a $200 budget weekly, I'm only doing 10 hours weekly. And I will do the 10 hours. I'll document my hours. And then what I'll do is I will send them like videos kind of going over like explaining the mechanics a little bit, and then I'll ask them questions if I need to and stuff, and I'll just consistently provide communication on working days and on progress made. Okay, this is something that I do consistently, right? And then on payment day, they just send over the payment, and that's that, right? And that's a weekly thing, and then we continue that until the project is done. You know what I mean? There's no like pay per task BS where you're getting paid under $1 an hour at the end of the day, right? Because it's like you're getting paid to make a game. Like I don't even know. There's so many poor examples you could look at hidden devs, right? Where it's pay per task and it's just terrible. So yeah, I don't do that. I reach out if I see that their budget in the listing is like high enough to where they probably could do it. That's who I'm sending a message to. What I'm probably going to start doing though is because I'm getting a lot of like weird, immature responses, I'm probably going to like off rip ask if they're 18 or older, cuz I feel like there's no way some of the responses I've gotten, there's just no way they're adults. There's no way they're 18, and I don't work with people that are under. So I might just start asking that off rip. Um so yeah, I don't know. We'll see anyways. But yeah, that's my payment structure, right? And why do I do that, okay? Is because now we're on a weekly payment structure. So if they're not paying me, I stop working. You know what I mean? So there's really no like scam involved now, or there's really no way for you to be scammed in for that structure, except like the first week, and the like, say it's a new person you're working with, the first week you work that week and then they don't pay and it's like whatever. Well, you don't have to submit the work either, right? Because you're doing it in your own place, and that's another thing. I operate in my own studio files. So I do everything mostly in my own studio files unless I need to be in that studio place. I'm usually operating in my own files. Um so yeah. So that's pretty much it. Like, and if somebody were to, like the guy who, like, it was a 2 day task and he ended up like not paying, right? And it's like whatever, I don't care. And that's just gonna happen. That's part of the game. What could we do to kind of prevent that, right? Because we've now executed most potential people to kind of like screw us over if we're trying to look up or just get commissions. What can we do to prevent the people that just like have us start working, but they just end up like kind of not seeing it through, right? Well, you can do small upfront payments, like a very small upfront payment, just to build that trust to be like, okay, well, this guy's definitely going to pay me because he's already given me like what? I mean, you could do like 20, $50. It's like whatever, right? Somebody who's going to like waste your time and not pay you at all isn't going to fucking like send you an upfront payment, even if it's low. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not what they're going to do. But somebody that's going to consistently work with you, and is committed to the project and committed to your work, and having you work for slash with them, that they would have no problem sending like a very low upfront payment, right? So if you wanted to weed out those people, then you could do that way. But I personally don't. I just don't care enough. Now, if I get super, super busy with multiple projects, now it's like, okay, I need you to, you know what I'm saying? I need you to do me a little upfront payment, because if you don't, I already have all these other projects I've made commitments to. So now it's like my time is very valuable. So now if I'm doing X, Y, and Z during the week that I'm not getting paid for, well, then that kind of like is a big loss in my opinion if you have so much that you're already doing. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I just don't really care because I feel like I'm a good judge of character, and I know if somebody's going to like not, you know what I'm saying, um not pay, right? Or just be unprofessional, or just end up being like drama, right? So I have a pretty good sense of that. So I just don't really care. And it's only like however many hours of work. It's like whatever, and it's all code that I could be using down the road, right? Because everything that I'm making right now is like reusable. So it's like whatever, just do the work, you know. But yeah, that's like really it. I feel like I shouldn't need to go over red flags or anything like that, because if you operate that way, very structured, and you have those boundaries in place, there's no potential for you to really get screwed over, unless you're, like I said, sometimes you might find those people who want you to start working, even if you're working in your own place, and then the payment day comes and they just, opt out, right? Like that can happen. Um, doesn't happen to me much, like really at all. Like it's only that one time. I think it happened maybe one other time, so maybe two times total that's happened to me out of all the freelance projects that I've done, right? So yeah, I mean, if you're sticking to a very well structure like that, and you're setting those boundaries in place, again, that's not gonna leave you open to be scammed, right? If you operate like that. Let me go ahead and read the chats. I've been kind of like going on this explanation. But I think we covered it. Oh yeah, outreach. Okay, I just wanted to go over this real quick so you guys can kind of like see the mindset or like what I would do or how I would do it or whatever. Okay. So let's just do that. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Like let's say that your goal, cuz I know this is a lot of goal for a lot of developers in this space. Let's say your goal is working with or for a big game, okay? That's not mine, and so I don't do this, but this is what I would do if that was my goal, and I believe that I would achieve that. I just don't want to do that. But here's what I would do, okay? Um, so let's see a game like this one. All right. What the hell? Okay. Let's say I wanted to work for this game. All right. I mean, this is not like a bigger game, but it was on the front page, so it is technically a front page game. No. Anyways, uh, let's say I wanted to work for this game. How would I do that? All right. I'm gonna start going to links. Okay, so we're gonna go to their Twitter. Um, see if we can DM. If we can't DM, we can't DM here. So what we're gonna do is just comment on a post that they made, right? So it is the same account, not a repost, but a post that they made. We'll comment on it and be like, hey, do our spiel, right? That's one way we could do it. That's one way to reach out. We could go to their YouTube, see if there's an email or anything like that. Okay, so we have their YouTube channel here. And we can go to the about, and we don't have an email link here. We have a Discord though. So what we could do is we could also go on their video and comment on a video. We could also go to their Discord and reach out to an admin or the owner themselves. And let's see what else we can do here. We could go to the group. We could join the group, post something on the wall. We could go to the shout out account. We could go to the owner account and see if there's any links that they have to reach out or anything like that. I wouldn't send them an ad. Like that's never going to go anywhere, I feel like. But if you want to, whatever, try it. Like if they add you back, then DM them, I guess, on Roblox itself. And so basically that's what we're doing, right? We're just looking at ways to contact. Any way we can contact, we're gonna make our contact and then move on, right? We're just gonna move on, and that's that. And we're gonna rinse and repeat. What you really want to find is a Twitter that you can message or an email. That's like the most ideal. That's like the most ideal, or even a website. Like so you could search up on Google, is this studio, or do they actually have a website? Look up on the website. So that's how we're gonna outreach, and it's really that simple. And you would just rinse and repeat for all the games that you want to, I guess, or whatever you want to, right? And it's just a numbers game. In sales, you're often playing the numbers game, because that's the game that works. It's the game that whatever. And then as you get more into sales and you're more advanced, you can kind of tailor your approach or tailor your sales tactics to that specific studio or whatever, that person, whatever, you know what I mean? But that's as simple as the outreach can be, right? And then another thing you could do is you could like build up an influence. So like that's not something I'm doing. Like I'm not doing that, right? Like I have a YouTube, clearly I live stream sometimes, I have videos, tutorials, but I'm not actually doing this. I want you guys to know that like what I'm doing on my YouTube is very, very different than what I'm about to say. You could build up and you could build up an influence on social media and then put yourself in a position where you now have influence and you're able to, like, say, collaborate with other influencers, or you're able to be in a position where you're now in contact with other people in that space that also have influence or whatever, and you can, like, you know, network, basically, is the simple word to use. You can just network from there, right? But this is a lot more difficult because you have to build content. And so now you want to make specific type of content to build an influence in the community. And you're now using your social media to create opportunities for you and also create networking opportunities for you and stuff like that, right? That's not what I'm doing on YouTube, but that's what you can do, okay? If I was doing that, what kind of videos would I make in this space? I really don't know.